Hello and welcome to my channel. Today's video we are going to be making these cute little Bride of Frankenstein characters. They are what I consider 100% no-sew. We're going to start by making the little arms, and then we'll move on to the legs and we'll join them. We'll work our way up, attach the arms, keep on working our way up to the top of the head. We'll add the eyes, stuff, and keep on going to close at the top. And then we'll tack on the ears, and we'll have to do all the little embroidering on the face. For this video, I will be using a number 4 medium weight yarn, a 4.25 millimeter hook, and 12 millimeter safety eyes. This is a crochet along, so I will be doing every stitch with you, and I am also providing a drop down at the top of the screen with the pattern instructions for the first 30 seconds of every row for you to follow along with. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button and click that bell. Not only does that help me out, but you will also be notified every time I load a new video, as well as any likes, shares, and comments are always appreciated. And don't forget to check down in the description below. I will have all the yarn types and colors, as well as a link to Mr. Frankenstein and links to my social pages if you want to go on my Facebook craft page and share anything that you've made with me. Okay, I think that's everything. So grab your yarn and let's get started. All right, we are going to begin with the arms, and you can start any way you prefer as long as you have the same amount of stitches on row 1. I will be making a knot with a loop on the end as if I was going to be making a chain. And I make my hole just a little bit bigger than my hook. Insert my hook, grab my yarn, pull up, chain 1, and that does not count as a stitch. That just attaches our yarn to our loop. And for row 1, we are going to do 6 single crochets into the loop over top of the tail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then pull that tail if you need to close up that hole. Grab a stitch marker if you're using one. And for row 2, we are going to do 6 increases, so that's 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way around for a total of 12. So increase 1 and 2, increase 3 and 4, increase 5 and 6, increase 7 and 8, increase 9 and 10, and our last increase 11 and 12. Row 3, we are just going to do 12 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Row 4, 12 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Row 5, we are going to do a double crochet cluster of 3 and then 11 single crochets to finish off the round for a total of 12. So for your double crochet cluster, you're going to yarn over, go into your next stitch, grab your yarn and pull up. So you're going to have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to grab your yarn and you're going to go through the first 2 loops only. And we're going to do that 3 times. So that was once, yarn over into the same stitch, grab your yarn and pull up, grab your yarn and go through the first 2 loops on your hook. That's 2, and we're going to do one more, yarn over into that same stitch, grab your yarn and pull up. Now you're going to grab this yarn and pull through the first 2 loops on your hook. You should end up with 4 loops on your hook, and then you're going to grab your yarn, you're going to pull through all 4 loops. And then we have 11 single crochets to finish off the row. I'm going to count this as stitch 1, and our first single crochet is 2. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Row 6, we are going to do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, and we're going to repeat that pattern around for a total of 8. So make sure you're going in the next stitch, so you're on this side of the thumb. 1 single crochet, and then a decrease. You're on this side of the thumb and the next stitch. For 2, and then repeat that around. Single crochet for 3, decrease for 4, 5, decrease for 6, 7, and our last decrease for 8. Rows 7 to 14 are going to be 8 single crochets all the way around, and I'm going to do those consecutively. So that's 8 rows of 8. 8 times 8 is 64. So I'm going to do 64 stitches, and I'm going to flip my marker every time I hit a set of 8. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I'm going to flip my marker and keep on counting. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64. And then we can take our hook out, take our stitch marker out, and then grab your stuffing, and we're going to stuff that little arm. All right, take a small amount of stuffing. I'm going to split mine in half, and I'm going to put some in the bottom, and then we want to stuff that fairly firmly into the hand, and then when we get up to the arm, we want to go a little bit lighter with the stuffing. So we want to kind of have a little ball down in the hand. And then I'm going to begin with half of that yet. I just want to stick that down so it goes all the way through the arm, kind of evenly. We don't want it too firm because we don't want the arms to stick out. So you want to have it so you can kind of squish it down a bit, just like that. And once you're happy with your stuffing, we'll insert our hook back in. And we're going to do 3 single crochets across. So starting in the next stitch on the front side, and then the last stitch on the back side, I'm going to single crochet across this way. So that's 1. Into the next stitch, going through both the front and the back, that's 2, and the last stitch. Make sure you're getting through the front and the back, that's 3. And then you can tie that off, leaving a little bit of a tail. Even though we're not sewing these on, I do something with the tails at the end to make the arms a little more secure. Now, if you've finished your first arm, I will be putting a screenshot with a timestamp in the next frame so you can go back and do your second arm. And if you are done your second arm, just keep on watching and we'll continue on to the next part. All right, now we're going to start on the feet, and I'm using the shoe color right now. And again, you can begin any way you prefer as long as you have the same amount of stitches in row 1. I'll be making my knot with the loop on the end, like I was going to be making a chain. Insert my hook, grab my yarn, pull up, chain 1. Remember, that does not count as a stitch. That just attaches our yarn to our loop. And for row 1, we are going to do 6 single crochets into the loop over top of the tail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And pull that tail if you need to close that hole. Grab a stitch marker if you're using one. And for row 2, we're going to do 6 increases. So that's 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way around for a total of 12. So increase 1 and 2, increase 3 and 4, increase 5 and 6, increase 7 and 8, increase 9 and 10, and our last increase 11 and 12. Row 3, we are going to do 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat that around for a total of 18. 1, increase, 2 and 3, 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, increase, 8 and 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, and our last increase, 17 and 18. All right, now we're going to be going in the back loops, and if you've never gone in the back loops before, when we normally put our hook in, we go down and through under both those V's in the stitch. For the back loop, we are going to go down through the middle of the V and just catch that back loop, and we're going to leave these front loops alone, and it'll give us a little ridge that'll kind of bend our shoe over to the side. All right, so for round 4 in the back loops only, we're going to do 18 single crochets all the way around. So remember, down and through that V. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and you should notice as you're going around that you're getting that little ridge from the front loops. Keep going. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Row 5, we're going to be doing 18 single crochets all the way around, and now we're going back the normal way under both of the pieces of the V in the stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. row 6, we are going to do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 12. 1 decrease for 2, 3 decrease for 4, 5 decrease for 6, 7 decrease for 8, 9 decrease for 10, 11, and on our last decrease we're going to change color, so we're going to go in and grab our yarn, in and grab our yarn, and then we're going to stop and not finish that 12th decrease because we're going to change our color to the leg color. So I'm going to cut my yarn and grab my new color, wherever the end is here, and we're going to tie that on nice and tight to the hook, as close as we can get it, 2 or 3 times. And then let's grab our new color and we'll pull it through to finish off that last decrease in our last row. Okay, now row 7 to 12 is going to be 12 single crochets all the way around, and again, I'm going to do those consecutively. So that's 6 rows. 6 times 12 is 72. So I'm going to do 72 single crochets and flip my marker every time I hit a set of 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now I'm going to flip my marker, but keep on counting. Whoops. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, 121, 122, 123, 124, 125, 126, 127, 128, 129, 130, 131, 132, 133, 134, 135, 136, 137, 138, 139, 140, 141, 142, 143, 144, 145, 146, 147, 148, 149, 150, 151, 152, 153, 154, 155, 156, 157, 158, 159, 160, 161, 162, 163, 164 60, flipping my marker, keep on counting. 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72. Okay, now if you are just finishing your first leg, you are going to do a slip stitch into the next stitch. You're going to tie off and you're going to cut this piece of yarn. And I will put a timestamp up across the top here so you can go back and do your second leg. And if you are on your second leg, don't cut this string. We're going to use it to join and continue on. And we're going to do 3 more single crochets in here so we can get this little bump to the back side of our guy here. So 3 single crochets added on to our last row. Now we're going to grab our other leg. I'm going to take that stitch marker out and tuck my little extra tail in the leg so it's out of our way for now. And we are going to insert our hook right where we tied off our first leg. So we've got our second leg with the hook and our first leg in our other hand, and we're just going to insert right there where we did our tie off stitch. And that's where we're going to start our first single crochet, and we're going to do 12 single crochets around that leg. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then don't worry about what you have left here on your first leg. Now we're going to go over to our other leg. And if you see, this is where our last stitch was in our last leg. So we want to go over in the next stitch. And we're going to do 12 single crochets around the other leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Don't worry about that stitch marker because remember we added 3 stitches. 10, 11, and 12. And that will bring us all the way around with 24 stitches. But don't be too concerned if you don't have 24. This next row we're going to straighten that out just in case you went in the wrong stitch somewhere around. All right, so row 14, we're going to do 24 stitches all the way around, and make sure you're starting in that next stitch and you don't miss it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and make sure you're not skipping a stitch here. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And if you happen to get all the way around back to your stitch marker and you have one too many stitches or one not enough, just do an increase or a decrease to make 24 in this row. All right, before we go any further, let's just tie off our hole that we're going to have here between the legs. So we are just going to find our thread that we left for the tail on our, when we did our first leg. And then we are just going to go back and forth on each side of that hole. So that string's a bit in my way. And we're just going to close that hole up. We'll just grab a stitch on each side, and we're just going to go around and around a couple of times just to make sure it's closed. So I've gone twice, and you can see it's already closed. If you want to go through and kind of close some of these a little tighter, you can. I'm just going to do it twice because with her little dress and everything, you're not going to see that part anyways. So once you have enough stitches around, you're just going to grab a stitch, tie your knot to secure that. Nice and tight. You might want to go twice. For the video, I'm just doing once. Then you can either cut that or you can hide it back down inside the leg. All right, let's get our hook back in. And for row 15, we are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 30. 1, 2, 3, increase, 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, increase, 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, 23, increase, 24 and 25, 26, 27, 28, and our last increase, 29 and 30. Row 16, we are going to do 30 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Row 17, we are going to do 30 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and then on that 30th stitch we're going to go in and pull up and leave those 2 loops on the hook because we're going to change to our dress color now. So I'm going to cut that off. Grab your dress color and you're going to tie that nice and tight, as close to the hook as you can. Two or 3 times. And then you're going to grab that new color and pull it through to finish off that last stitch. Row 18, we are going to do 30 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, whoops, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Row 19, we're going to be going in the back loop. So remember, you're going to go down in between the V's and out the back. And we're going to do a 30 single crochets all the way around in those back loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Row 20, we are going to do 30 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Row 21, we are going to do 30 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Row 22, we are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. 1, 2, 3, and a decrease for 4. 5, 6, 7, and a decrease for 8, 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, 15, and a decrease for 16, 17, 18, 19, and a decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, and a decrease for 24. Row 23, we are going to do 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 24, we are going to do 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and on our 24th stitch, we're just going to grab our yarn and pull up. We're going to be changing colors here, but before we go up this way, we're going to work on the skirt. So I'm just going to grab a scrap piece of yarn, and I'm just going to pull that through my stitch for now, just so we don't accidentally pull out any stitches. And then I'm going to cut my white, just giving myself enough of a tail there so that I can finish off that last single crochet. And I'm going to tuck everything inside now, just so it's out of our way. We're going to flip it upside down so our feet are up. Now grab your skirt color and leaving yourself a bit of a tail for tying later. You're going to make a knot with the loop on the end, so I just fold mine over, wrap that around my finger, bring that loop around and through, and then I just pinch the top and slide the knot up. And we want that loop to be just a little bit bigger than our hook. And we're going to be going in these front loops that we left behind earlier. And I'm going to start back here because I want, when I go across here, I want these stitches to kind of come together and not be quite as much of a step in there. So let's insert our hook, and I'm going to go 2 stitches back. So there's 1, 2. I'm going to put my hook in there. We're going to attach our loop to our hook, and then we're going to pull that through just enough so that our knot is on one side and our loop is on the other side. And then we're going to chain 1. And for row 1, we are going to do 30 single crochets all the way around. So starting in that same stitch that you just chain one, you're going to do your first single crochet. Then you're going to do another single crochet for 2. And if you started where I am, you're going across the row now for 3 single crochets, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. All right, I'm going to add a stitch marker to keep track of my rounds. And for row 2, we are going to do 30 single crochets all the way around. And remember, we did a chain 1 here. So we want to make sure we go over behind our first stitch to get started. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, oopsie, 27, 28, 29, 30. Row 3, we are going to do 30 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Row 4, we're going to do 30 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Row 5, 30 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Row 6, 30 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. All right, now we are going to do our little edging, and I'm going to be doing what I call a picot stitch. So in the same stitch, we're going to start with a single crochet. We're going to chain 2, and then we're going to do a single crochet in that same stitch. And then we're going to slip stitch in the next stitch. And then we're just going to repeat those 2 sections all the way around. So single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in the same stitch, then slip stitch in the next stitch. Repeat that again. Single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in the same stitch, and slip stitch in the next stitch. I'm going to go a little bit faster now. Single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, slip stitch, 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 single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and a slip stitch. And that brings us right to the end. Now we're just going to tie that off. Leave yourself a bit of a string to weave up, and then we're going to tie them on the inside. Alright, so grab your darning needle, and we're going to thread our last string on right now, and we are just going to weave it up to where our dress meets our body, and we're just going to put it on the inside. So just come up these row of stitches here. Let's take this out of our way. So I'm not being fancy, I'm just getting it up to the top because I'm going to tie it on the inside, and I'm just going to go in where our skirt and our body meet. Whoop. And then just pull that out. And get our mess of stitches out of here. Then we want to do the same thing with our starting thread. So So what we're doing, we're just putting both of our ends on the inside. And then we're just going to flip our dress around and we're going to tie those ends together. And not tight, we're just going to do it nice and loose because we don't want to pull the bottom of the skirt up and make it a gather there. We want it to stay the same. And then you can either leave that or cut it. I'm going to cut mine just because I don't want them in my way. Flip it around. And there we go. All right, now we're going to attach our green. So I'm just going to take our little marker out here. I'm going to get my hook back in, and if for some reason you've messed up right here, you can just pull out that last stitch and then just go in, grab your yarn again and pull up so that you have the 2 loops on your hook and you're ready to make your color change. Then you're just going to grab your skin color and tie that on nice and tight, as close to the hook as you can get it. Two or 3 times. And then just grab that new color and pull it through. All right, so for row 25, we are going to do 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. I'm just going to give you a little heads up before we go any further. We're going to start decreasing now, and I'm not stuffing my little guy until I'm almost done the whole head. So if you struggle stuffing when your hole starts getting on the smaller side, you might want to start stuffing now and as you go to make it a little easier for yourself. All right, row 26, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. So 1, 2, and a decrease for 3, 4, 5, and a decrease for 6, 7, 8, and a decrease for 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, and a decrease for 15, 16, 17, and a decrease for 18. Next row, we're going to be adding the arms, so get them ready. So for row 27, we are going to begin with 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to grab your arm, and remember, this is the back where your stitch marker is. This is the front. You want your thumbs and your strings to be pointing towards the front. And we're going to do 3 single crochets through the arm and through the body. So 1, and make sure you're going in the next stitch because it's really easy to go in the same stitch. Through the arm and the body. That's 2. Through the arm, through the body. That's 3. And then we're going to do 6 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you're going to grab your other arm, and again, this is the back, this is the front. You want your thumbs and your strings facing towards the front, and you're going to do 3 single crochets through the arm and through the body. So that's 1. Through the arm, through the body, that's 2, through the arm, through the body, that's 3. And then you should have 1 single crochet left. Now if you were left-handed, you might have had to do that backwards. As long as your arms are on the sides, don't worry so much about your stitches on either side. Row 28, we are going to do 18 increases all the way around for a total of 36. So increase 1 and 2, increase 3 and 4, increase 5 and 6, increase 7 and 8, increase 9 and 10, increase 11 and 12, increase 13 and 14, increase 15 and 16, and make sure you don't go over top of these tails. You're going to need them on the outside. Increase 17 and 18, increase 19 and 20, increase 21 and 22, increase 23 and 24, increase 25 and 26, increase 27 and 28, increase 29 and 30, increase 31 and 32, increase 33 and 34, and our last increase 35 and 36. Row 29, we are going to do 5 single crochets, 1 increase, Repeat that all the way around for a total of 42. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and an increase, 6 and 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and an increase, 13 and 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and an increase, 20 and 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and an increase, 27 and 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, and an increase, 34 and 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, and an increase, 41 and 42. Row 30, we are going to do 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 31, we are going to do 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 32, we are going to do 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 33, we are going to do 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 34, we're going to do 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, and 42. Row 35, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 36, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 37, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. All right, we're going to put the eyes in now. So get those ready. And then you're going to flatten your little guy out. And we're going to count down 3 rows from the top now. So 1, 2, 3, and then we want to go in between rows 3 and 4. So I'm just going to mark that. So that's the row we want to be in. And then I'm going to find my center. And you know, that is awfully close. So I think I'm just going to put my pin in that stitch right beside there. So I am in a stitch, I'm not in a hole. So I have a hole on this side and a hole on this side, and I'm right in that stitch there. Have a look. If you feel like it's in the center, and grab your eye, and we're going to count over 4 holes from our pin. So our pin is right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and in that 4th hole, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. In that 4th hole, my pin isn't showing up there. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So in that 1st hole, 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th. And then just have another look. If you feel like you have them where you want them, we'll put the backs on. Alright, and I was so worried about stopping to do the eyes, I forgot that we're changing colors here, so I'm just going to back off that last stitch. Insert my hook in there. If you can't get it in there, remember you can just take the whole stitch out and start fresh. So you have those 2 loops in on your hook. And then we're going to cut our skin color. Grab our hair color. This is all in my way. Then you're going to tie them nice and close to the hook, as tight as you can, 2 or 3 times. Remember again, I'm not stuffing mine till I get almost to a couple of the last few decrease rows. So if you need to stuff now, make sure you're adding your stuffing. Now you're just going to pull that new thread through to finish off that stitch. This will be row 38. And we're going to be doing 42 single crochets all the way around. Oops, my elbow's grinding on the table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. And remember, I'm not stuffing till I start my decreases, so if you need to stuff, add your stuffing. Row 39, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 40, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 41, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 42, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 43, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. And now I'm going to add some stuffing now before I get way too far ahead of myself. Alright, so grab your stuffing, and if you haven't stuffed any at all, like me, you're going to want to grab a little bit at a time to get down into the feet first. So I'm just going to guide it down there, and then I'll grab my scissors so I can kind of, oh, I don't need to. So I'm going to hold the foot on the palm of my hand here, and I'm going to just squish it down and kind of out to the sides here. Then I'm going to try and take about the same amount and do the other side. You want to try and keep them even. So I'm using my palm of my hand to keep the bottom flat. Grab another little section. Once you get the legs done, you don't have to worry quite as much about how much you're putting in. So the feet are fairly firm and the legs are maybe not quite as firm, but firm enough that it'll stand up when I guess just stand up. If you want them to stand up, you need those legs to be strong enough to support without flopping around. And when you have it how you think you need it, then you grab another chunk and we'll put it in the body and kind of tuck it into the holes of the legs a bit, just so it's not like two separate pieces and they kind of blend. The body doesn't have to be as firm. It can be a little on the squishy side. That's enough for the body now. I'm going to put a little bit in the head, but I don't want it interfering with the height of my camera, so I might be pulling it out mid-row. You should be able to do yours right close, fairly close to the top, because we are going to put a lot of stuffing here and kind of squish it out to the sides to shape that head. All right, let's get our hook back in here now. And for row 44, we are going to do 5 single crochets, a 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 36. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a decrease for 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and a decrease for 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and a decrease for 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and a decrease for 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and a decrease for 36. Row 45, we are going to do 4 single crochets, a 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 30. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and a decrease for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and a decrease for 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and a decrease for 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and a decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and a decrease for 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and a decrease for 30. Row 46 is going to be 3 single crochets, 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. 1, 2, 3, and a decrease for 4, 5, 6, 7, and a decrease for 8, 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, 15, and a decrease for 16, 17, 18, 19, and a decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, and a decrease for 24. Now we only have 3 rows left, so if you need to add stuffing now. Row 47, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. 1, 2, and a decrease for 3, 4, 5, and a decrease for 6, 7, 8, and a decrease for 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, and a decrease for, oops, I grabbed some stuffing. Decrease for 15, 16, 17, and a decrease for 18. Now we only have 2 rows left, so if you need to, add all the rest of your stuffing. And you do want her head to be fairly firm along the face and the top half of the hair, and then you want it to kind of go flat when you get to the top of the head where you started your decreases. So I'm gonna kind of squish this out to the sides and then try and put my new batches of stuffing in the center. And that will help kind of shape. Oh, I don't have much down in that one. There we go. It's a little lopsided, but my hands are out as far as I can get with my chest to the phone here. So I can't really reach good. And I'm still going to put more in yet. When you feel like you have the face as firm as you want it, you can always do that trick where you put our stuffing out to the sides as far as you can, and then when you get down to your 6 on your last row, you can easily put a little bit down in there and not worry if you're getting out to the side. So I'm going to have to stop here. I'm not even sure if I can fit this in the camera now. I just have to squish her down. Good. Okay, so for row 48, we are going to do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, and repeat that around for a total of 12. And I'm sorry if I go off screen here. 1 decrease for 2, 3, decrease for 4, 5, decrease for 6, 7, decrease for 8, 9, I can't bend that way, decrease for 10, 11, and a decrease for 12. In row 49, if you need to, we are going to do a 6 decreases. And with being black and doing all decreases at the top, you probably will have to do all 6 of them. So 1 decrease, 2 decreases, 3 decreases, 4 decreases, 5 decreases, 6 decreases, And then you're just going to slip stitch into the next stitch, and we'll tie that off, leaving a bit of a tail so that you can close that head up. And if you need to add any stuffing in there, we'll do it now. I'm going to do mine off camera just because I can't fit it in very good. Alright, I have mine all nice and stuffed how I want it. Remember, you want it to be full here and flat on the top. And then we're just going to grab our darning needle. Let's close this head up here. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the top stitch of the last row we did, and we're just going to weave in and out all the way around. If you're trying this in plush yarn, I would suggest doing halfway around and then pulling that side tight and then doing the other side and pulling it the rest of the way. That will help with some of the, so it won't break. So we pull that tight, and then we're just going to tie a knot over in the next stitch. Nice and tight. And we're going to go down through the center and out. I'm just going to go out the back in the black somewhere. Give that a good pull, and then we'll cut that off. And then let's do the arms as well. We're going to thread on our arm strings that we had left over. And we're going to put that down inside where our last stitch is at the neck where our arm was attached. So just down inside, right along the neck, and then out the back, center somewhere on the neck. Try and get it in the middle if you can. Then grab your other arm string. And we'll do the same thing. Right where that arm stitch was attached, we're going to go in and come out the same place we brought the other arm string out. Now we're going to tie those one time, but keep track of your ends and which way they go. So that's one tie. I'm going to wrap them around the neck and turn her over. And then we're going to pull on those strings to bring in these little knots and her arms forward a little bit. Now mine's a little snug, so be careful if yours doesn't want to knot easily. You don't want to break your yarn. I guess that's as far as she's going to let me go here. Once you're happy with the position, you're just going to tie them again to secure that. Remembering it will relax a little bit over time. Then thread those ends back on. And we'll just bring them down and out somewhere on the body. If you can, try and get past the skirt. I get my needle, whatever, poke out. There we go. And then we'll cut those ends. like squished down pretty good. All right, now we're going to do the ears, and before you make your loop, leave yourself a bit of a tail for attaching the one side of the ear. And I'm just going to fold my yarn over, wrap it around my finger, bring that loop down, around, and through, pinch that loop, and then I'm just going to slide the knot up. We want to have a fairly small hole, just big enough to get your hook in. So insert your hook, grab your yarn, pull up, and chain one. And that does not count as a stitch. That's just attaching our yarn to our loop. And now we are going to do 6 single crochets into the loop, and we do not want to go over our tail this time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're going to tie that off again, leaving some tail for attaching the other side of the ear to the head. Pull that tight. We'll set that to the side and make our other ear. So same thing, leave yourself a bit of a tail. Make your knot with the loop on the end. Insert your hook. Grab your yarn, pull up and chain 1. And then we're going to do our 6 single crochets, making sure we don't go over the tail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're just going to tie that off, and again, leave yourself a bit of a tail. Pull that tight. All right, now we are going to shape the face and bring the eyes in a little bit together. So grab yourself a scrap of whatever color you used for the skin. Thread that on your needle. And we're going to be going in the same row that we put the eyes in. So just somewhere in the center, and you're going to come out on the inside of that same row. Leave a little bit of thread on this side for tying. Then I'm going to wrap around my safety eye. If you don't have a safety eye and you made your own eyes, you're just going to skip the wrap part, and then you're going to come down one row and come in on the bottom of the inside of the eye. And then you're going to go over and match that on this side. So you're on the inside bottom. And wrap around the other eye. And then you're going to come down on the inside on the same row that you inserted, matching your first stitch. And you're going to come up in the center where you started. I just gotta get that around that eye there. There we go. And then once you have them both in on each side, you are just going to tie them once. Make sure you have, you know, which side is which. And tie them one time. And then you're going to pull them together and push them down and in as you're doing it. You don't want them too close together. So once you're happy with where they are, when they're a little close, I'm going to pull them apart a bit. You're going to give that a tie, nice and tight. And then thread those ends back on. And we'll put them down and out the back of the head. So just go in that same stitch where you started. And then bring them out the back somewhere. Give them a good pull. And cut those ends. And if you have a hole like I have here where you tied your yarn, you're just going to kind of smush those stitches around and kind of close that hole up. All right, now we're going to add the ears. And I'm going to pin them so that we all have them in the same place. So we are going to start in this top hole right here on the top outside of the eye. And we're going to count 5 holes, including this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to put a pin in that hole right there. And do the same thing on the other side. The top stitch at the top of the eye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to mark that with a pin. So we're right in the hole. Now we're going to thread on our one of our ears. And when you're doing your ears, you want to make sure you have both sides the same facing you. So I'm going to be doing it with the V's facing me. You don't want to have one with those V's facing you and one facing the other way. So one's backwards and one's forwards. So thread on the top of one of your ears. And we are going to go into the hole we pinned and out the back 1 row down. Thread on your bottom ear string. Let's take that out. Now we are going to skip a hole, so that's where we put our first string in, right there. We're going to skip a hole and go in the next hole and come out where our other string is. And then we want to get them nice and secure in there, and then we're just going to tie that one time. Nice and tight, and then we're going to stick it out the back of the head. And then we're going to do with the ears what we did with the arms. So we're going down in that same hole we tied it in and come out in the middle center even with your ear. So there's my ear. I'm in that same row in the middle of the head somewhere. And then just leave that string for now to hang out. Grab your other ear. Make sure it's facing the right way and grab your top ear string. Now you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to go in where that pin was and down 1 row, out a hole. Take your bottom ear string. So this is where your first string went in right here. Skip a hole, go into the next hole and come out, whoop, where your other string came out. Then we're going to tie that one time, nice and tight. Thread your strings back on. Go in that same hole where you tied your knot, and you're going to come out where your other strings came out. I'm not quite in the center, but it shouldn't matter. Make sure you keep track of both sides. You don't want to mix them up. Give them one tie, keeping track of your ends. So if they started on one side, they end on the other side. Hold on to the strings, turn your little guy around. And now you're going to pull on them to kind of bring the ears in and kind of shape that face a little bit. Probably don't want to do it too much, up to you how much you want to change the shape of his face or her face. So I'm just coming in a little bit, and then I'm going to tie that better and then put those ends out. I got all 4 ends on my needle. Then I'll just bring them in and out somewhere else on the body or head. Oh, I should have had my pliers, I guess. Holy moly. This new stuffing I have is so dense. Sometimes the needle doesn't even want to go through it. And then, same as before, if you want to just fix that little hole if you have one. And I'm doing it down here as well. Still see that one a little bit. All right, now we're going to grab a chunk of black to do the eyelashes. And we want to come at the very top of the eye on one side in that hole and go over to the top of the eye on the other side. And we want to leave the same amount of string on both sides because we're going to do one side and then the other side. And just kind of think about it for a sec. I'm going to go across this first stitch here into this hole. Then I want to go in the next hole over and up, and then I'm going to come down and over. So first we're going to go here. And I want to come up at the bottom of this stitch if I can, without taking that stuffing with me. Don't pull them too hard. And then I want to come one stitch over. And I want to come out on this row where we attach the eye, so the middle of the outside of the eye. And then I want to go on an angle on this one. I'm just going around a row. And then I'm going to come out here somewhere where I'm going to tie it. Make sure you grab a bit of stuffing as you go around so that you're not seeing your black string under there. I know it looks a little off because you can see green, but we're going to put the white there and it's going to cover that up. Okay, so now put your other thread of yarn on the other side. Now we need to match this and this. So I want to go over on an angle up one row. And I'm going to come out right here, one stitch over. My stitch is a little stretched, so I want to make sure I'm right in the front side of there, catching some of that stuffing to hold the stitch in place. Then I'm going to go up around the row. Come down out here in that center outside piece of row. I'm going to try and catch a bit of this stitch there. My eyes are just a little off. And then I'm going to come up to this stitch right here and come over here and out. Grab a little bit of stuffing so you don't see your black string. Be careful not to pull these eyelashes as you're doing it. This one seems a little more spaced out. And you're going to tie that loosely because you don't want to stretch your stitches. You don't want to pull your stitches and make them tight and smaller than what you have them. So as you continue to put your knots in, you are just going to tighten them up as you go. And then once you have it secure, we'll thread those on and put them out to the back. Now you're gently going to pull the ends out, flip them around, and just kind of watch that knot go in so that you don't pull your eyelashes. And then we're just going to fix that stitch a bit so you can't see that hole or your little black knot. Then we're going to cut these loosely. We're not going to pull. And then to get rid of that, we're just going to go in a couple stitches over and just swoop our needle past it, and then they'll be hidden on the inside. You're going to grab a little bit of white yarn, thread that on. And we're going to go right in that same stitch that we had our bottom lash in, and we're going to go around over to the same stitch on the other side. Now we could probably save ourselves a step. No, we can't. I thought we could go around, but we can't. Now we're going to go into the same stitch as our top eyelash, and we're just going to come out the center somewhere. Now loosely pull this because you don't want to pull it under your eye. So as soon as you have that tight against your face, you're done pulling on that side, and then we're going to thread this side. I didn't leave the same amount of, there we go. So now that we have the other side threaded, we're just going to go in that last stitch at the top and come out where our other chunk of white came out. Pull that gently. And then just like we did the eyebrows, you're going to tie this loosely at first, and then you'll slowly tighten as you go. So you're not pulling your eyes underneath your eyeballs. Thread that on. And in that same stitch out the back. And slowly pull that in. Fix your little stitch. You might have to pull some stuffing up. I'm going to have to fix this little knot I can see. Then we'll cut that end off. Don't pull that side because you don't want to pull your accents in under your eye. Whoops. Swish it around. All right, now we're going to do the nose. So grab a chunk of skin color. Thread that onto your needle. And let's mark off our center where we want our nose to be. So we're going to start in the same row that we put our eyes in. I'm going to go down 1, 2 rows and make that our center. So if that's centered where you want it, if you want a short nose, you're going to go in the holes right beside. If you want a wider nose, you're going to skip a hole and you're going to go in the 2 holes over. So start down under somewhere. Decide if you want a wide nose or a long nose, and I'm going to go for a wide one. Leave a little bit of string at the end for tying. And we're just going to go around and around. Don't pull it too tight and try to keep the tension the same. Because if you do a tight stitch over a loose stitch, it's going to make your nose look a little bit funny. And I just kind of try and guide the string so that it stays. So if I went across the top, I go to the other side across the top. If I went across the bottom, I go in the bottom on the other side. Now this one, I'm going to go across the middle, so I want to go in the middle on both sides. And just keep going around till you're happy. I go at least 5 times. This one I'm probably around 6 now. I'm going to go 1 or 2 more times around. Just kind of see how it looks. Yeah, so this will be my last time around, so I'm going to come out where I started. Make sure that string kind of stays at the top without pulling it too tight. And then you're going to tie these ends, oopsie, loosely, excuse me, just like you did the eyes and the eyelashes. Tighten it as you go. I think that's okay already. Thread that back on your needle. And then back in and out somewhere. And again, make sure you don't pull this too hard because you don't want to wreck up the nose you just made. That's not swooping around. There we go. And then now you're going to grab a little bit of black or whatever color you want to make the mouth. And you're going to go down 2 or 3 rows from the nose. So this is where our nose went in. 1, 2, and I went down 3. So I want to be in this row right here. I'm going to go down 1 row. I'm going to come out and I'm going even with my nose and the inside of my eyes. Leave a little bit for tying. And then I want to match that here again. And then just go out. Now you can make the nose or the mouth a lot bigger if you want, longer, wider, bit of a smile. My other Frankenstein, I had quite a longer mouth, and after doing this one, I actually took his whole face apart and redid it so it matched this one because I liked it a little better. Now, just like you did all the other ones, you don't want to stretch or wreck your mouth. Just tie it loosely and slowly tighten it up. Thread your yarn back on. And then out somewhere. I think I'm going to put this out the back. Again, just kind of watch that you're not pulling your mouth out of shape of where you got it. Fix that hole if you need to. Cut your yarn. Remember, don't pull. And we'll just give it that little swoosh out. And there we go. We got the little face on. All right, grab yourself a nice sized chunk of white or whatever color you want to make the stripes on the hair. Thread that on your needle. And my stripes are going to go from about here to here. So I'm just going kind of right in between where my two eyelashes are. And then matching that on the other side. Then I'm going to pull my yarn halfway through so I have the same amount on both sides. And before you get going, you can check if you're happy with where they're going to end up. I think that'll be okay for me. And you're going to go up about 8 or 9 rows wherever your top of your head starts to bend. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm between rows 8 and 9. You want to come straight up, so make sure you're in the right row. And then I just went around 3 times. So that's 1 time. Don't pull it too hard, but hard enough that it's going to stay. So this will be 2 times. And this will be our 3rd time. And this time we're going to go over 1 or 2 stitches. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going in the 3rd hole. It lets me. And then I'm going to do the same thing I did there. So that's where I went. I have 1, 2 holes, and then I'm in that 3rd one. And again, just kind of check. Sorry, it's so hard to keep this in the view of camera. So over here, I'm skipping a stitch and going in the next stitch on the top. I don't know if you can see that. There, skip a stitch, go in the next stitch. And then the same thing we did on the other one, we're just going to do it 3 times. I guess the word I want to say is you want it taut, I think. So you don't want it pulling or squishing down the hair, but you want it to be tight enough it's not going to move around. And back in for our 3rd time. And then I'm just going to bring it up here so I can tie the 2 pieces together at the end. This almost could add a 4th one for some reason. The other one didn't. So now you're going to do the same thing with the other side. So you want it to go straight up to match. So about like that. In the same row. I'm in this row. So there's where I'll be going. No, I might go one over. Just make sure it's straight up and down. And then once you have it, do your 3 times around. So that's 1. That's twice. And this will be your 3rd time around. So this time we're going to come out at the bottom of our other stripe. So if you went 2 holes over, you're going to do the same thing. You can go 1, 2, and then in that 3rd one, man, I wish I had different stuffing coming down there. And then when you're going to come up, you're going to skip 1 stitch and go in the next one. And then you're going to do your 3 times around. One. Two. And your 3rd one, you'll come out. Oh, I just want to cheat and go against the yarn here. There we go. And then you'll just loosely tie those ends. Re-thread your needle. And then go in the same hole and out somewhere in the back. Give that a cut. And then I just gave her a little matching bow to match Frankenstein there. It probably looked better if you did a chain long enough to go around and tie it. I'm not stitching this in. I'm putting it right around the indent around the skirt where we went in the front loop, and I'm going to give it a bit of a tug just to keep it in there, and then tie our bow. I don't know why I always tie my bows, they're upside down, and I gotta flip them around. And I'm just gonna cut those ends just a little shorter than the end of her dress. And there we go. Oh, see, that one wants to flip the wrong way. Alrighty, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button and click that bell. Not only does that help me out, but you will also be notified every time I load a new video, as well as any likes, shares, and comments are always appreciated. I'd also like to send extra love and hugs to my super thanks friends listed at the end of this video. And as always, take care, be safe, and happy crocheting.